Hello folks, I'm Fuego. Welcome back to the channel, and I know I said I wasn't going to post anything here, but things change. So I'm going to be doing a series called Fuego Talks about various specific subjects I find interesting and want to comment on. And no, I'm not going to be talking about politics. Not intentionally at least, but again, we will see how this progresses, and maybe I want to do this casually, focus on it as a whole. I don't know. Just, we're going to have to wait and see, okay? So I hope you all stick with me, and let's get into this first subject, all right? All right. So we're going to be talking about something that I'm really passionate about, and that is video games, and a certain issue that has been coming up a lot within the coming weeks, and that is the discussion about modern gaming. And to note, I'm going to be talking about the present time of 2012 to 2023, because anything before 2012 is looked on more nostalgic in a sense, and the seeds of modern gaming really stuck there. Like, look back at Halo Reach or like Halo 3 or somewhere within that period. That's when modern gaming started. So let's start with the obvious. AAA companies. I'm talking about Activision, Blizzard, Naughty Dog, Bungie, PlayStation Studios, Xbox Studios, Nintendo, etc. The video game studios who have evolved into a business Goliath with investors, business tactics employed alongside the gaming content that comes with it. But sadly, as of late, the monetary values have been much more forcibly than actual meaningful content. We've seen games such as Call of Duty, Overwatch 2, Halo Infinite, and many other titles that kind of force monetary stuff into the game more than anything. So with all this negativity towards that, why hasn't that changed? Well, to put it bluntly, we aren't business people. We're consumers/gamers. It sucks to admit, but we know nothing about running a company. We only know what we dream of playing and expecting. Now, it doesn't excuse the companies from doing these tactics. No, not by any means, but it gives a sense of self-realization. There's a lot that goes on with a business than an indie game studio or a studio from before modern gaming really took form. Pre-Bungie, pre-Activision, like if we go back to the 80s, for example. Those types of studios didn't exist yet. Things change. The more people want something to experience similarly and to escape the world and just kind of be in their room and just kind of chill with their friends, then comes the issue of, is the studio going to deliver? Well, we're going to need to hire more people, and we're going to need to grow and grow and grow, because with every single bit of growth comes another form of problem. And that's what I feel is happening right now. A beloved studio by a lot of video game fans within the millions want to see the next title, but can this studio deliver it again and again and again and again? You see the issue. They can't do it for that long, so they have to make business decisions more than gamer decisions, emotional, because that's how it is. Tell me, how are you supposed to deliver the same exact experience that your millions of fans expected before, and when you release the other one, there's bugs, there's underperforming expectations of story with older fans, developers under-delivering ideas and proper in-game maintenance, and the passion is lost. A whole heap of issues that just aren't seen at base value, because we are gamers, not business people, not investors, and this isn't bad to admit or project outward. It's just the reality of how things work out as growth goes on. If a studio starts with something good, other people want into it, and therefore begins the spiral of growth and growth until there is an end, an inevitable end or change that just makes people leave, and less people are interested, less people, and therefore a bunch of other things. That's per the course. And I get it, that is a hard pill to swallow in general. Business unable to satisfy because of how many people. But come on, everyone wants the same thing for the game, right? Should there be clear enough choice of what should be done? Well, that leads into the second part of this video that is mostly overlooked, and that's us, gamers as a whole. Let me ask you a question, all right? How long do you play video games, and how long have you played it on a basis? And I mean any video game from retro, modern, like how long have you been playing video games as a whole? A lot of you will say a lot, probably like within the hundreds and thousands of hours. I myself am guilty of overindulging as well. There's a reason for that. We want to have fun in this world. That is the one thing we seek as people, is enjoyment and ecstasy from what we find fun in. Now, as much as that's good, the world changes and so does our overall enjoyment towards it. We've been escaping reality and coming here to what we love. And because of that love, we are more invested in something. And the more we're invested in something, the more we hate people messing with it. And that is not bad. If you love something, go with it. Love it to your heart's content. And when 2020 hit, that is when things for gaming hit an all-time high for expectations and hit a low of depression for gaming. Like 2077, that game at launch was the worst thing to really give people when the pandemic started. Like, oh boy. They improved it, but that still laid the seeds down for what we would feel is modern gaming growing into what it is now. And a lot of other games during the pandemic really underperformed. Minecraft Dungeons, Last of Us Part 2, Rainbow Six Extraction, Battlefield 2042. There's a list that goes on and on. You can look it up, but it's a big list, and how many games underperformed is just so bad, and that's what I feel laid people's overall content with gaming is just sadness. Like every title that now comes out, we have to look skeptically more than, hey, it's gonna be fun, because we've been hurt so many times before. And because of that negativity, we have come to become a negativity crowd of when something goes wrong in the gaming community. And that's not bad. You're free to have your opinion and critical thinking there. But when you're just throwing stuff at the wall and expecting it to stick, when it's like, fuck you, fuck this, fuck EA, fuck this. Yeah, and I agree with some of those statements, but at the same time, think about who is behind the other screen when you say that. And I don't mean the other screen of a fan, the screen of the developer who put time and effort to deliver a game to people who wanted it. Those numbers are becoming less and less if we grow as a crowd to the same direction of negativity and toxicity. So here's what we need to do. Lessen our toxicity and be critical, not nagging and just throwing more crap at the walls. Be critical about how we feel and what we are going to do about games that underperform. Instead of just, hey, we're just going to complain about it. No, uninstall the game, demand a refund, do all these things that affect the company more than just throwing negativity over and over. You get my idea? You could say 1,000 words of negativity and won't get across to anyone. But the more you affect them financially and to the degree of pulling a bit of their leg, then that is an effect. But we've been critical, and they have money. Like, they have the money. Why not just do it right in the first place? Or they're a $1 billion company. There's still bugs in the game, and that's a poor fucking excuse. I get it. A lot of money. That should give no excuse, no bugs, no issues. Again, this leads to a final point, a very final point that we are overlooking to a basic degree. So far, this is just the beginning of just realizing ourselves and overall how we approach it. The final bit is simple. Being human. This may sound cheesy. This may sound one per the course, but think for a solid 5 minutes. Think and hear me out on this. The video games aren't made on a conveyor belt with a simple construction process. It's not a TV, it's not a phone, it's not a candy bar, it's not a simple A to B. It's an A, B, C, back to A, to C, back to B, to Z, then back to B. There's so many components we aren't seeing. And you want me to get more detailed on this? Okay. They're crafted to a specific code, each individual game, whether it's Python, Linux, Java, and then you have the genre, then you have the story, then you have the background work, the art, the assets compiling, the rendering technology, the ray tracing. So much detail that we don't see, people. Open your eyes and realize this is a lot of fucking work to go into something that'll be pushed out to millions of people on a basis of 6 to 8 months' time. We aren't thinking properly when it comes to video games, and neither are these companies, I think. There's going to be errors a majority of the time, and we don't give chance for them to speak, because if they speak for themselves, they'll get slandered. If they don't speak, they get slandered. We're so preoccupied with how we're going to react negatively because they didn't deliver. And you might be like, well, delay. Again, the same thing applies. They just delay the inevitable of, hey, it's not perfect. And as much as you might be like, well, they should have all the time, right? No, they have investors behind them. They have executives on their back. They have all these different business components that have pushed video games to the extent that they aren't reliable anymore. They're just another thing that we take commercially rather than artistically. And that's where the divide is. Art over business. And video games are art. Look at the background of your game right now. And look, it's beautiful. That is something that would take years to frickin' do as a painting, but with technology, we're able to do that. Companies don't care about art. They care about making the buck and getting out. Business has ruined modern gaming, so this is what we need to do going forward. Stop treating games as everyday items we can just simplify as one simple thing. Look into yourself similarly, because video games are flawed. They are created by us. And as always, we are learning to be better. Therefore, we can improve the game to be better. Modding is one of these experiences, and if you don't know much about the modding community of older video games or somewhat newer video games, look into that. Like Stalker Gamma, for example, is a good one. Or look at Subnautica modding. Someone made a multiplayer Subnautica mod, so go for that. Then you have indie titles like Slime Rancher, Blade and Sorcery, Pavlov, all these indie form of titles that are making their way in the world that are just there because they're fun. Yeah, simple fun games. So look into that. And if you don't know what game to look at and you're just overall done with the fact of where gaming is heading, leave. Go out in the world maybe, or maybe don't focus too much on video games, because at the same time, you are a person. You make your own choices. Don't let the world make it choose for you. You choose. Not what a YouTuber does, not what the community says. You choose what you do. Alright? I hope you all enjoyed this video. A like would be appreciated, and giving a subscribe to the channel would really help out as well. Like, it's kind of right there. Just press it. Thanks. And in all seriousness, I hope you all are having a good day. And as always, carry on.